So we are going to begin with me asking you a question, Douglas. What's the last thing that you remember?
Um, hmm. Fuck, I forgot about that.
Uh-huh.
Oh, no. I forgot they're fucking celebrating Edward's birthday today. Oh, it's one of my coworkers. And they're like, "Hey, we're gonna do a surprise party on Wednesday." I'm like, "Oh, sick. Forgot yesterday." And whatever.
It's fine. You're
Anyway,
fine.
um, last thing I remember was falling. Was what was it? Oh my god. Character names. I don't remember them. One of the archangels, I think. One of the main head honchos, right? Was watch me pick up Eliza's dagger, and then I think I fell really far, and then I passed out on the ground.
Yeah, so essentially, the last few frames, if you will, of your memory, you remember a cascade of sand
Mm-hmm.
as a solid surface suddenly turned into millions of grains of it, and you were falling. You managed to grab the dagger, and the last thing that you saw was one of the topmost death scythes standing over you. You saw her boots right in front of your face before you passed out.
I'm fucked.
Douglas, roll me a d20.
First D20, and has it actually been a year?
Um,
Since the Japan arc, it's been less, like
it's
half
It's
the
been
year,
less
maybe at most.
because it's August. Have we played this year?
I mean, I
I
think
feel like you did.
I
Hold on, I
feel
can
like the
answer
last
this question because I literally have the session posted. I can tell you exactly when it was. Hold on. It was. Just go to my channel.
first roll in. I'm gonna guess. I'm gonna guess 8 months.
Okay, there's Long Live the Queen. There's Long Live the King. Okay, the inevitable session was on December 29th of 2023.
8 months ago. Yeah, damn.
god damn.
First roll in 8 months, baby.
Yep, and
And
it
it's a
is a.
fucking 12.
That's pretty even. That's pretty even, Boar. I'm not gonna lie.
Did you like the raisin voice?
Douglas, you.
Okay.
The first thing that you become aware of is heat. You feel heat around you, all encompassing, like a warm blanket. You start to come back to your senses a bit. Do you remember what your inner room looks like? It's been a while since you've been here.
There's a beach, and there's a house in
Mm-hmm.
the forest. About it.
You hear in the background. Well, actually, roll me a d3. Let's see
A
where
D
you wake up.
a D3. I don't have a D3. I can roll a
D4.
D12.
We'll go with a d4.
I was gonna roll a D12 and do 1 through 4.
Either way.
1.
Okay. In the background, you hear motion. And it takes you a bit to try and discern the sound. As your senses slowly start returning to you, you feel gritty sand beneath your fingers. And for a moment, you were thrown back there. You were thrown back to a pillar of sand falling. You're thrown back to the image of a dagger sticking haphazardly out of the sand. And then the sound of the ocean begins to come in. The rhythmic, soft waves in the background, and you feel the lightest brush, almost like air, against the side of your face. Somewhere beyond your closed eyes, there is a golden light for just a moment.
Maybe tries to open his eyes.
You flicker your eyes open, blinking away the tears of water, trying to look at the stinging gold light, but almost immediately it's gone. And instead, you're greeted with a stormy coastline. The water a few feet away splashing up, just barely missing your frame. You can hear the wind whistling. What do you want to do?
Just stand there and remember everything.
You push yourself up on the sand into a sort of kneeling position, looking out at the storm waves, and it begins to sink in. What do you remember first?
Everything? The first thing he remembers is falling and finding Eliza's dagger.
But let's go further back. Do you remember not Eliza? Do you remember the sewers?
He does vaguely remember that.
And of course, with the wind whistling across the beach, ruffling at your hair, it's almost automatic, the flash of memory standing on the top of that skyscraper, overlooking a burning city. Yokohama in chaos. And all around you on the tops of buildings, other bodies, other powerful creatures, standing, watching, and waiting for somebody to make the first move. And in the distance, writhing between multiple buildings, is a massive, black blood, tendril abomination, at the top of which you know is Eliza. You push yourself up, start trailing, walking the beach. Usually, you're not alone here, there's another presence, but she seems particularly absent today. The ladybird that's a part of your soul. Almost as though something has chased her out. You don't feel entirely alone, though. There is something nagging at your perception, that being watched feeling. What do you want to do?
Or just slow. I would say he'd slowly sweep the tree line.
You look around the tree line. You think for a moment. You see someone standing at the top of the cliffs looking down upon the beach. They disappear, phasing into the shadows quickly.
Douglas starts moving towards it, towards the shadow.
You start following. You find yourself roaming into the trees. The same trees you've chased Katya and Eliza through. The same trees that you found Frostwing in. You think occasionally you see a shadow floating this way and that, almost like it's guiding you, and then all of a sudden you broach the darkness of the trees into this sort of clearing, and there's a stone in the center, sitting in a beam of moonlight, sifting down upon it. You see a dagger stuck into the surface of the stone. The dagger looks familiar to you.
Argus walks up and kneels next to the dagger in the stone.
You do so. And you're sure of it then. It's the same dagger that you've held, that you've used. The one that seems to fit perfectly in the palm of your hand. It's Eliza's weapon form. Gleaming in the moonlight. You can see the pieces of the blade that sort of disconnect themselves and hover for a moment for realigning.
Douglas stands up and tears start to well in his eyes.
You feel everything. Everything that you didn't do, and everything that you didn't say hitting you at once. The dagger sits there gleaming. What do you want to do?
He touches the dagger.
You reach out and trace your fingers along the cold handle. There's not ice there anymore. The ice is gone mysteriously, and you've never seen it without the ice. It looks a bit odd to you. The eye spot on the handle remains closed. There's no reaction when you touch it at all. And you remember something. You remember conversations from your time at the academy about what happens to a weapon. Weapons either shatter or they are passed on. Being that you're in your inner room, you're not sure what exactly this means. What do you want to do?
Douglas grabs the handle of the dagger.
You grab the handle. There is no reaction to you, but it still fits perfectly in the palm of your hand. You find that it's loose in the stone, as if it wants to be removed, as if it wants to be taken. You
Pulls on it gently.
You pull on it. You still feel that being watched feeling from the shadows around you, not from a specific point, but as if the entirety of this space is observing you. The dagger comes loose in your hand and you're holding it. And you're faced with a choice. Do you try and assimilate? Or do you shatter it?
Oh.
And what did she want you to do with it?
She wanted no one else to get her hands on her. I remember right. It's been so damn long.
I'm asking. This is a you decision.
Because I'm actually trying to remember now. She never said anything about.
She did.
She did. Fuck.
Yes.
Uh,
Let's see. Does
Can
your
I-
co-player remember what she said? Liam, do you recall? Because I'm pretty sure your character was present for that conversation.
I think he's dead.
Hang on. Wait, let's catch me up.
Douglas is currently holding Eliza's dagger. And he does not remember what Eliza told him to do with it. Do you recall the conversation? Because I'm pretty sure Arthur was present for it. I'm just curious if you do.
I mean, he was a bit busy dying, but
Just
if
as a
I'm,
player, if you remember.
if I'm remembering correctly, I'm pretty sure that she wanted him to have the weapon.
Yeah, that's what I remember. I don't remember anything about like shattering or assimilating. Fuck. Can I roll an Henry check?
I will allow you one.
Let's go home. Please. Team?
What was it?
A 14.
There's a moment you remember being somewhere else. You remember Eliza being suspended in tendrils of black blood, her skin pierced in dozens of places, hanging there helpless. And you remember a conversation that took place. You remember her telling you, like you thought, she didn't want anyone else to have the weapon. Nobody else but you.
So I haven't even keep the weapon for as long as possible. Douglas decides to assimilate it. Remembering that conversation for you.
You look down at the ring that you're wearing, remembering the promise you made with Katya. You look down at the dagger and remember the ring that you placed on her finger at the time. And you decide that you can't let her go. Not in this capacity. But how does one assimilate a weapon into their being? For you, this isn't the first time this has happened. Do you remember what you did last time you got a weapon form?
It was her final dance.
Mm-hmm.
And oh my god, what else happened? So I offered to give her blood. See if I remember this fully. Well, that's actually been like 2 fucking years. Um, she got badly injured.
Mm-hmm.
Um, lost most of her blood.
She gave you a
Offered to give
piece of
her,
her soul.
gave her a piece. Yeah, that's right. That's what it was. That's what it was.
Mm-hmm. She gave you a piece of her soul, and
Then
you were able to bring forth her weapon form into occurrence, but you're currently holding Eliza's weapon form. It seems this may be different. The part of the soul isn't a part of you right now. You gave a piece of your soul to her. What do you want to try to do to assimilate with her dagger?
hmm, I don't know.
Would you like to roll perception?
Sure. Let's go perception. Okay. 13.
You hear something. A whisper. And at first you didn't notice it because it seemed a part of the wind whistling through the eerie branches. But it's almost a feeling now, almost tangible. Something wants you to stab yourself with the dagger. Something wants you to become one with it, whatever possible way.
Huh.
And as you turn
Uh,
it in your hand, looking at it, you notice that a black liquid has seeped onto your palm.
so has the black blood, human death. Douglas like playfully just like puts the dagger on his arm, thinking that'd be enough.
You rest the dagger against your arm, and for a moment, the black blood drips onto your scarred skin. And you're not sure if it's just a trick of the
I
lighting,
feel.
but it seems like it's almost trying to get in. Liam, roll a perception check for me.
Me?
You.
Oh, okay. 13?
Okay. Cyrus, did you die? He muted himself.
He will when I get to him.
At this rate.
Uh,
Sorry, my girlfriend's trying to get me drunk.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh, wait, sandwich.
With that observation, Douglas, I need you to tell me what you want to do, and then I need you to roll a perception check.
So is it my first though?
All of them?
No,
Oh god. What do I want to do after knowing what I just saw?
Uh-huh.
He thinks to himself he dealt with black blood before, and he thinks he can deal with it again. So he kind of allows the black blood to do his thing.
The black blood isn't trying anything. You've not cut yourself. You're just resting the blade on your arm. And again, you're not sure if it's actually trying to get in or if it's just a trick of the light in the forest. It could just be dripping and trailing into the crevices.
Douglas give Douglas cuts a small cut on his forearm, on the top side of his forearm. See what happens.
You reach up with the blade, placing it against your skin, and you go to cut. And you hear a voice cut in. Liam, switching over to your character,
oh boy.
you have been
Oh yeah.
sitting you have been sitting at her bedside now for 3 weeks.
Oh, oh.
She hasn't woken up. They tell you she's alive, but you have been locked in a quarantine chamber. Think of it like a glass walled box, similar to something you've seen in the past few sessions. The two of you, they were kind enough to leave together. And across the hall from you, for the first time in weeks, you sense motion. You've looked over, and you've seen that Douglas is moving, fretting. And now gripped into his hand is that dagger. The same dagger dripping with black blood. And you see in his sleep, almost as if he's being controlled, he starts to move his hand, gripping the dagger towards his own arm.
Is he in the same containment unit that I'm
No.
in?
You are directly across from each other. You're in two separate cells, basically. But you guys can see and hear each other. You guys are pretty close.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Are you gonna try and wake him?
I don't really see that working out.
You're not gonna try to?
Arthur's, at this point, probably not even really registering anything.
Fair enough. Douglas, you go in your inner room, moving the weapon closer to your arm. At this point, I'm going to make Anna roll a perception check. If
Oh,
Anna's
good
alive.
lord, Anna is
Your first
not
roll!
the.
Your first roll is Anna!
And Anna rolled a 2.
Oh my god. Anna is not paying attention. Let me see if Homegirl's paying attention. Okay, Homegirl is paying attention. Douglas, you go to cut into your arm and you hear a sharp voice somewhere in the forest around you. Don't. If you value your sanity.
What was I? What we were? Do you have to interrupt me every time I try and talk?
Only when it's important.
Douglas, Douglas
What is
stops
it
and
this
he holds the
time?
blade.
You hear these two females talking, and their voices that you, Douglas, do not recognize at all. There's suddenly a searing light that begins to cut through the darkness of the forest. You kind of wince against it, turning away from it, but it seems to be coming from the other side now, too. And from above you, and from everywhere. And before you can realize what's happening, the light begins to fade. And you're not in the forest anymore. You're on a bed. You're on a bed in what looks to be a medical room. Roll a memory check.
Oh, gotta pull up the app. One.
It's not that you don't remember, it's the severity. This is the same type of quarantine room that you were in when you first saw Eliza in quarantine. It's the same room. You have flashes of the dead bodies against the walls, the stains of blood. You feel your nose bleeding as you remember. It physically hurts.
He goes up to touch the blood from his nose and looks at it.
You look at it. It looks darker than usual. In your other hand, you feel the touch of cold, and you look down and you see Eliza's dagger is gripped in your palm. The two females outside are still talking. Was he awake the last time we were in here?
Oh, is the zombie alive?
Kinda looks like it.
Oh, he's less pale, that's for certain.
You could still use some sun.
You guys call me a zombie?
Douglas turns. Douglas, you see, if you want to look in the character sheets document, you see Anna.
Sure. Anna. I think
Anna or
Dylan sent
Anna?
me a drawing.
I gotta make sure I'm saying her name right.
Anna.
Is it Anna?
Yeah, Anna.
Okay. You see Anna standing there. You see the long golden tresses of hair. How is she wearing her hair today?
Just a straight ponytail. Just
not the Muppet movie.
You see the long flowing
Yes,
golden ponytail. Um and then you
he's
see
wearing casual clothes.
this girl. I will send you the other girl. I
Art.
haven't posted her character sheet yet, so
Okay, okay, okay.
here, I'll send it to you over Instagram. That'll be the fastest way. Yeah. Homegirl. You see this girl standing there, watching you with a kind of peculiar, speculative look on her face.
Okay.
Could we be telling someone about this? How's it
Considering
going, Arthur?
he's holding a blade, probably.
Uh, Douglas, who kind of like looks down at the blade, looks at the blood on his fingers, and like looks up, and kind of keeps repeating it like over and over, just trying to figure out the situation.
Well, he seems crazy. How are the other two doing? Judah turns around and looks into the cell opposite of his. Arthur, what are you doing right about now? You're muted.
Uh, um.
And now you're muted.
So the cells are like completely glass, right? We can see each other.
Yeah, it's kind of like the thick, like impenetrable style quarantine glass. So yes, you can see the two girls standing in the hallway in between you two, and then Douglas directly across from you.
Arthur's sat like on the opposite wall, staring straight at Douglas.
Douglas, you feel that feeling of eyes, not just like looking at you, but like burning into you. It almost triggers your danger response. You start looking around. It's certainly not coming from the girls standing there, but as you peer through them, you begin to make out the shape of a similar cell, a bed in there, and sitting against the back wall, dark clothes, a wide brimmed cowboy hat, and two eyes peering at you from underneath of it with rage.
Douglas just kind of waves back. He just kind of gives like the single wave.
Looking
Arthur.
between these two.
Uh, Arthur,
We
you've been
brought
waved at.
tacos!
Morning, killer.
Tacos.
Do I do I hear him?
You do. You guys are not far
Okay.
away. You're like right next to each other, separated by like a pane of glass in a short amount of space.
Mm, morning. Douglas like puts down the dagger. He like tries to find something to put it down on.
You're sitting on a hospital type bed.
There
There's a
like a
table
desk
next to
nearby.
it. Yeah. It seems that these rooms are equipped with like a hospital bed, a desk and a chair, kind of the typical quarantine room.
Okay. Douglas just like tries to slowly get out of bed.
You feel a lot of your energy has been sapped. You feel weak, but you manage to get on your own 2 feet. You have wounds still. You're sore, but not detrimentally so. You seem to have been taken care of. You place the dagger on the desk and turn to look. You can see Arthur, the cowboy, the one that's supposed to be dead. The last time you saw him, he was a pillar of salt. He and his weapon form frozen like statues. You
It's
see
good to
the
see you alive
girl,
again.
Rosada, his weapon is laying in the bed, not moving.
Douglas looks at Arthur. Just, it's good to see you alive again.
Wish I could say the same.
What about your weapon?
Versada ain't waking up.
Do you have a pulse still?
Somehow.
Means there's hope for recovery.
I ain't hoping for anything right now, boy. The two of us should have been dead.
Yeah.
I don't know why we ain't.
The
I don't know
why
either.
you can blame on Uncle Gabriel, the punk girl says to you.
Aw,
Preacher
you
boy.
said.
Preacher boy, she says, and smirks at the title.
How many of them died?
You want to be more specific?
When we turned it all to salt, how many of them died?
Uncle Gabriel didn't really, go into a lot of details, but sounds like they managed to grab a couple of them off before the whole thing went down. I'd say of the ones that were still alive, I don't know, maybe 5 or 6.
Yeah, well, I reckon that more than just the two of us died. I'd say he picked the wrong two to bring back.
You say Uncle Gabriel?
Judah looks back over at you. Is that a problem?
No, that's cool though.
He's not my uncle, she says.
Oh, it's like one of the
It's more,
close friends. Like, yeah,
her, she
basically
says,
uncle.
looking at
Basically
Anna.
uncle.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, not really my uncle either, but he's the only one I've really can consider family since. Yeah.
Sorry to hear that.
It's the DWMA, kid. You gotta get used to this kind of thing.
I am. Don't worry.
Yeah.
None of my parents are alive either.
Judah nods. I guess I should probably go, report this. You can stay here and watch him
What?
if you want. And she turns and starts walking out of you guys' eyesight.
Want me being
Anna
awake?
does a whole salute and be like, "Aye, aye, Captain."
You notice Anna, is she in her, like, outfit, or is she just in her normal clothes?
No, normal clothes.
Okay, yeah, so she's wearing casual clothes, and she is standing there, I'm assuming kind of awkwardly, like, in between you guys' two cells.
She's holding a bag full of tacos that she has announced but was completely ignored about.
Right, yeah, you guys can smell the food that she was bringing you guys.
Food?
Douglas, this is the first food that you've smelled in weeks. You may not realize that, but you have not eaten in a long time.
Real quick. So how long have I been out for? Said Anna.
Um, About 3 weeks.
3 weeks. Yeah, it's a long ass time.
You hungry? These are some really good tacos. They're from my favorite taco truck from the
I'm
city.
really fucking hungry.
Douglas approaches the door of the cell. There's like a safe box panel where you can like open one side and put the stuff in, and then the other side can be opened.
Uh, Anna takes out about half of them, maybe a little more, like 2/3. She bought a lot of tacos.
Just a lot of Douglas. You are slid through the safety box. A lot of tacos.
What is a lot? Like 10?
The bag was full of 20, so
Oh god, like 15
13,
tacos?
14. Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
You get like 13 or 14 tacos in this. She just kind of indiscriminately piles them into the box.
Douglas like tries to take both arms and like tries to scoop them all.
You do so. You manage to get a good armload of them, and you take them back, put them on the desk, and sit down.
Douglas starts slamming tacos.
Douglas starts slamming tacos.
She's
Arthur.
gonna put the bag into the slot and just for Arthur's door and just leave it there. She knows the drill with Arthur by now.
Yeah, Arthur's the only one of these three you've interacted with, and he is not exactly the most chatty individual. Arthur, you the smell of fresh food, much less tacos, good tacos, begins to invade the room. Roll me a perception check.
Oh. 3.
Because I rolled and this is hilarious. You're kind of focused on Douglas and your irritation with his existence, but you hear the slightest sound of movement from underneath of you.
Just going to look over.
You see Rasada's hand shift just a teensy bit on the side of the bed.
Holy shit, you're alive.
The hand twitches and the fingers elongate just a little bit. She inhales, the slow, rhythmic quietness of her breathing becoming more rigid as she starts to wake up. Scream dying in the background.
She's itchy.
Need to give her her flea stuff. Yeah, so she starts to breathe more unevenly. Her eyes start to flicker open and immediately close to the brightness of the room. Are those tacos? Is the first thing she says to you.
Uh, Anna does a very silent pump fist and then tries to pass it off as just casual standing there.
Anna, you 100% are convinced that you have resurrected this woman with the power of tacos. Like, there's no question about it.
Arthur will grab the bag of food and bring it to her.
The closer that the smell gets to her, her eyes lightly flicker open, tiny little creases between her eyelids, and she starts to peer up at you. You look like shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which is funny, because you're not supposed to look like anything right now. Her eyes move down towards her chest and her arms toward the bandages that are wrapped around her in different places. Why am I here?
Guess these psychos had other plans for us.
I thought we were supposed to be done, no questions asked.
Yeah. That's what I thought too.
She pauses for a moment, just kind of staring. I don't know if I'm thrilled or upset with the fact that I'm not dead.
Well, I'm glad you're alive.
She squints at you. Careful. You might sound like you actually care about something. Can't have you breaking your perfect image, she says, trying to sit up and falling back.
I think the time for caring's already passed. Come on, you need to eat something. We've been out for a month.
That long, huh? She braces herself, trying to pull herself up. The wound on her shoulder, the one that you, Arthur, remember very vividly from that black blood infested bird boring into her, begins to darken around the padding as she sits up, wincing. What? Why are you looking at me like that? She reaches for the food.
Don't worry about it.
Hard not to worry about it when I'm locked in a cell with your ugly mug.
Does Arthur know if they're infected?
You do not know. You're not sure. Because I don't think they ever tested themselves in front of Arthur, did they?
No.
So yeah, you wouldn't know.
I mean, I think he'd know how to check if his blood turned black.
I mean, you could try and check if you wanted.
He's gonna pat around and say, "Where the fuck is my knife?"
I'd be surprised they let us keep any weapon in here, but considering I am one, she says, like already halfway done with a taco.
You'd think a dinky little piece of steel wouldn't be the biggest issue.
You check your boot for it.
He checks his boot where he usually keeps it.
You reach down into your boot and you feel a cool touch against your hand.
There it is. Immediately, he pulls it out without any ceremony and immediately jams it into his palm.
Douglas, you're inhaling tacos and you just see the cowboy stab himself in the room next to you.
Yeah, I'm like already fucking like 9 tacos in. Barely breathing to eat like between bites.
It's like the
And, like,
slow turn
like
with a
turns-
mouthful.
Yeah, he like turns with like already like another fucking bite ready. He's just like staring.
Yeah, so the cowboy just stabbed himself in the hand unceremoniously. Rasada, it's not the most surprising thing she's seen you do, so she's kind of just watching you with a deadpan expression. Anna, on the other hand, you just watched one of the quarantine patients pull a knife out of their boot and stab themselves.
There's a just a wind and that's gotta hurt.
He pulls the knife back out, wipes it off on his grubby cloak, and then squeezes his fist to let blood drip from it.
Blood begins to drip down onto whatever your hand is hovering over, the blankets, the floor, until there's a little puddle's worth of it.
How's it look?
You peer down at it. You can't tell if the tiny flecks in your blood are the remainders of the sand.
Salt.
Sorry, the salt coming out of your system, or if it's something else. Like, the consistency looks kind of funny, but again, you think it might just be the remainder of coming back into being a liquid form.
You know, I'm really hoping your uncle is as good at putting people back in the ground as he is as pulling them out.
Douglas like says through like a mouthful of taco. He's like, "Hey, I was gonna do that too." And someone told me stop.
Yeah, well, your knife murdered a bunch of people on its own.
Yeah, you're right.
Fair.
Had to add that addendum right there because
I mean, your knife has probably murdered a bunch of people too, right? Maybe not so much
a
on its
knife,
own, but,
Rasada
like-
says, like, glaring over the top of her taco.
Like, not
Yeah.
you, the actual knife he's holding.
yeah, I've stabbed a lot of people.
At least your knife hasn't blown up an entire city.
Yeah, I've got to say, you and your friend really blew my work out of the water there.
Douglas hears a friend, just like in his sentence and starts to like tearing up. Hey, old man, don't die over there while trying to make me sad.
Oh, I ain't even started trying yet.
What, to die?
I've been trying for a long time.
I think you told me the first time we met.
Probably.
Douglas goes back to slamming the rest of his tacos.
Glad we're all connecting.
Rasada peers over at the energetic girl on the outside of the glass. Who's she supposed to be?
I don't know. She comes in here and watches us sometimes. Throws food into the. I don't know. She's a warden or something.
She squints. I get the feeling we're not home anymore.
No.
She looks at Arthur, looks back at the girl, looks at Arthur. I blame you for this. She takes another bite of her tacos.
I didn't ask to come back from the dead.
It's at this point you hear footsteps in the hallway. Rather rapidly approaching. Judah skirts around the corner, followed only
Oh,
a
thank
half
God they
step
were talking
behind.
about killing each other.
Oh,
Oh, kill
and
each other?
I missed it, says Judah. She runs her hand through her colorful mohawk, looking between everyone. Gideon is a half step behind her. Holy shit, she's alive, he says, looking in the glass.
Yep. Somehow we're both still breathing.
He begins to fidget with the electrical panel on the side. I'm gonna come in there. Do not try and stab me, he says, pointing at you.
I make you no promises.
Yeah, well, I put you back together. I can certainly take you apart again, he says, without without missing a beat. He puts his palm.
Douglas takes another pause from his taco. He's just like, huh?
He puts his palm onto the scanner, and there's a couple sounds and then an unlocking. And he moves himself through the quarantine door, and it shuts behind him. He walks in, pulling a stethoscope over his, from around his neck. Rosada, he says, looking her over. She's finally finished eating and is peering at him uneasily. You think I could still shoot like this? She says to you under her breath.
I mean, we managed all the way up till the end.
What do you think? A couple good shots? We'd cut his hand off, use it on scanner, and get out of here?
Nah. I don't think we can kill him.
Nice to see you too, Gideon says, not even paying attention. He's like going through his whole checklist of like, okay, take a deep breath for me, like listening to her. And then his eyes drift toward her shoulder. I'm gonna need to redress that. He starts mumbling to himself. You stab yourself, he says, looking at the blood.
If I'm gonna wind up like one of those freaks, I'm not staying alive.
Well, how's it look?
Not great.
Really? He comes around to your side of the bed.
I don't exactly know what to look for. Thought it'd be a little more obvious.
Well, considering you went from a state of being a solid to a state of being only partially solid, things might be a little inconsistent. He puts his glasses on, pushing them up higher on his nose, and holds his hand out.
I mean, I've been coughing up bits of my lungs for the past couple weeks, so yeah, I'd say things aren't exactly in order.
Yeah, I don't think bodies were meant to come back from that state. He still waiting for you to give him your hand.
He holds his hand out.
He grabs your wrist and begins to manipulate your hand in front of him, looking at the cut. He, grabbing a scalpel, runs it quickly along the blood on your palm, and then lets go of you, and walks closer to one of the lights, peering at it.
Went through pretty clean. I remember sharp shit just kind of bounced off.
As
So I'm hoping.
he's peering at it, and he kind of shifts the scalpel in the light. Well, I would give my right arm, saying that is salt. Short of tasting it, I can't be for sure, but it's pretty translucent, see? And he holds the scalpel out more to the side so you can see it as he shifts it in the light.
What about her?
Well, let's take a look, shall we? She immediately, leans back on the bed and says, "You cut me with that thing, and I'm gonna hurt you." Gabriel just pushes his glasses up and smiles, walking toward her. You mind, handling your friend there? She's, already trying to turn back into a weapon so that she doesn't have a malleable surface.
Usada, just let the man check your blood.
No, I don't want to be cut again.
Do you want me to do it?
She grimaces. And then unhappily holds her hand out in your direction.
He takes the knife, which is very obviously not sterile.
She doesn't care. She's not gonna let this random ass dude cut her.
And he is going to be gentler this time. And draw blood.
You cut her hands after cleaning your own knife off just a teensy bit enough so that it's not the same amount, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you kind of hold the blade out towards Gabriel. She's sitting there going, "Are you gonna cut me or not? What are you waiting on?" Oh. Her eyes trail towards the blade. He leans in, checking it. Well, it's a little darker than normal, but it doesn't look like his. I've only had a few samples to go off of, namely patient 0, him, and their daughter. It doesn't seem to
You
have
talking
the
about
same
me?
quality. Yes, he's talking about you.
He's like, because he still has the taco just sitting there, just watching this entire thing happen.
Yeah,
He's talking about me.
100%.
Well, I'd certainly hope if you brought us back, you wouldn't let us live with that shit.
I didn't bring you back. I, more accurately, kept you from leaving.
Oh,
Whether you were infected or not, I wouldn't simply put you down. I, unfortunately, or fortunately in your case, have been convinced that that is not the best course of action.
what is it you want from us?
What I want, number one, is your side of the story and to know exactly what happened. You were there. You saw firsthand the events of what happened, and me as a doctor and as a scientist, I need that information. You've
Do you
come
know?
into contact with that infection, for lack of a better word. If you aren't infected, I need to know why. I need to know if you're immune. I need to understand what's happening.
You know who I am?
He looks at you. Apart from being a judge look-alike, he grimaces. All I know is you helped them. So that means you're not all bad.
I've got a pretty extensive track record in the States. And overseas, too.
Are you confessing to me? He says, straightening a bit.
Hell no, preacher boy. What I'm saying is, if you wanted an honest truth, you probably should have picked anybody else. What's to say I don't just spout a bunch of bullshit until you let me go?
Who said I'm letting you go? He smiles at you.
Who says I don't spout a bunch of bullshit anyways, despite you?
He shrugs a bit. Well, I suppose that's your own decision to make. You want to lie to me, fine, but judging by the way that you reacted to the possibility of having this infection, get the feeling you'd do anything to stop it.
I guess it's on my list. What I really want is for that asshole and his devil friend to eat a bullet.
Douglas in the background.
Wait, what?
Yeah,
You wanna do, huh?
Arthur just jabs a thumb at you.
Arthur basically just told you he wishes you were dead, in case you weren't tracking.
Arthur, I thought we were cool, man. Like mid taco.
And Brasada, we are most definitely not cool.
I might not be salt anymore, but the only reason I was is because of you two idiots.
Yeah, you got a point.
Alright,
I
fine.
can't fault you on that.
If anything I can tell you helps fuck over either of those two,
What?
I'll do it.
Hmm. So tensions are a bit strained between you, I see. It's not a good sign.
Well, they kind of fucking killed me, so.
Did not.
Perhaps I should move you guys further away from each other. Gideon muses or Gabriel muses.
No, we're good friends. Just he's got some stuff going on.
Good friends, Rasada says in air quotes.
If it makes you feel any better, I can't get through the door. Otherwise, I would have probably smothered him in his sleep.
No, you wouldn't have.
Not the worst way to go.
Definitely more than he deserves.
What?
Not the worst one.
Alright, what do you want to know?
Well, between the two of you, let's start with what the hell went wrong. He pulls out a notebook.
Well,
I fought my daughter.
He just slowly lowers the pen and looks at you.
yeah. How about I start from the beginning?
Yeah. Wait, Arthur, are we starting straight from the beginning, or like we're like the beginning of the end, or the beginning of the beginning?
I'll give the spark notes up until things get important.
Hold on a minute, I have to put some royalty-free appropriate music on for him. Give me a second. My royalty-free cowboy playlist, here we go.
Oh my god.
Alright, the cowboy music is going, let's do it.
Wee wee wah wah wah.
It's not shy of what it is! It's the first song is just flashing Texas on my screen in bright white letters.
Oh my god.
I gotta ask you guys a question real quick. Do I drink a second drink out of work tomorrow?
I wouldn't, but I mean that's just me.
Personally, I'm a bit of a lightweight, so.
Same. So, Arthur, from the beginning.
Well, Me and Rosada, we're doing some work for somebody. Anonymous and pretty typical stuff in our line of work. They were having us do mercy killings, which was pretty atypical. We were looking for people who'd paired with Soma's sister.
And Gabriel holds up a finger. Hold on. Soma has siblings?
Yeah, I guess. Apparently there's some sort of weird demon cult shit going on. I'll get to that in a second.
Why is it always demons? Judah says in the background.
I feel like if it isn't demons, it's witches, and if it isn't witches or demons, it's us.
You're right.
Anyways, we were, I guess, people had bad reactions when they paired with her and got all burnt out, I guess.
Wait a minute. Did they give you a description?
Yeah, scarred horribly all across their entire body.
No,
pretty
no,
much.
of the girl you were working with.
Oh, the girl. Well, I mean, I'm pretty sure I met her face to face. Pink hair, just like the boys.
He sighs. Kamiko, he says, without missing a beat. You're telling me that Soma is related to Kamiko?
That name does sound familiar. He's got another sibling on top of that, though.
He pinches the
Douglas in the
nose.
background's just like, yeah.
And one who is arguably worse.
Great. You were saying?
Anna is face palming.
Someone has like 2 siblings that I think we killed. I don't remember.
You have killed neither of Soma's siblings.
Nope, they're all alive. All of them
Fuck.
are alive.
Fuck.
Anyways, continue.
I'm fucked.
So, we tracked down one of these victims. We do what we were told to, offer them the opportunity to die, and then kill them if they take it.
Wait. So, you weren't instructed to just kill them outright?
Nope, mercy killings. Like I said, weird, but they only wanted, they were very, very expressly specific about the fact that we were to only kill them if they wanted to die. They even said that they'd pay us regardless of whether or not we killed them.
How odd. Continue.
We track this guy down, walk up to him while he's out in the alleyway outside this bar. Of course, Tweedledee and Tweedledum over there. They come out. And they decide to sit and watch while I put the poor bastard down. Left his little girl pretty messed up.
Gabriel doesn't look pleased by this, but he's not interrupting you.
I guess our work was impressive to them because the devil boy decides to offer us a job. They're pretty convinced that we're working with whoever they're looking for. And he says that he's willing to pay us better than we're getting paid.
With what? Gabriel says, squinting at Douglas.
Douglas is just like doing like the no. He's like doing like the knot across his neck. He's just like.
Yeah, I had the feeling they didn't have the funds. Despite the
I mean,
fact
someone
that he
someone
seemed pretty
did. It's just
he seemed pretty convinced he did. But I don't think they did. Regardless, they suggested to me that there was demon shit involved, and I have 2 rules. I don't work directly with witches or demons. Because if you take a job from them, you're probably going to wind up dead by the end.
yeah.
So, a little bit of double crossing wasn't off the book for me. We do a bit of the old investigation. Dougie boy over there sells his daughter out to a bartender to make a bit of money for him in
She
exchange for
wanted to go,
information.
all right? She wanted to fucking go be a bartender, and I said no multiple times. And Soma said, just let her do it. And I was like, yeah, all right, fuck it.
Yeah, because Soma's the dad in this relationship.
Yeah.
Anyways, we get what we're looking for. There's a whole lot of noise and commotion, but in the end, we find out that there's some sort of underground fighting ring. This is the part that gets bad. We get ready to head over. And when we get there, of course, they bring the kid along. We go in, we talk people up, get information, join in the festivities for a little bit of leverage. And I wasn't hired to be a babysitter, so I didn't keep an eye on the kid. Clearly no one else did because she wandered off. We decide that it's not a problem. She'll guess she does that all the time. Always turns up. And so we decide to enlist in the big leagues. Because there's
Horrible
some
idea.
real big players with a lot of information. And that's the best way to get to them. So we sign up, we join, and we fight. Right, there's something I did miss. Something that's gonna be important. There's a rumor that was going around. You know about Bloody Mary, right?
Gabriel pauses and looks up at you. Judah, beside you, Anna, tenses up immediately.
Yeah.
She's just a fairy tale. It's one of those
Yeah.
stupid
Okay.
things that little kids talk about, where they
Yeah,
spin around in the mirror, right?
Willis yells out, just like, no, she isn't.
Yeah, that fairy tale turned 2 kids into gore in the bathroom of the bar on the night when we were working there. And Soma, being the genius he is, decides he wants to have a go at it. Turns out Bloody Mary's his other sister.
You gotta be kidding me.
Yeah.
Oh, shoot! Judah says in the background.
Full-blooded demon looking to get a family reunion going.
So she
Soma.
just showed up out of the blue.
Kinda, sorta. Soma called her up.
Wait.
She recognized him, so she showed up. They had a conversation. I'm not privy to the juicy details, considering that slippery bastard doesn't tell anyone anything that doesn't gain him something. But I get the feeling he probably was more amicable to her than he let on. But he swore he had no interest in helping his family do what they were planning on doing. Yeah, that didn't turn out as true as he claimed it was. Back to the fight pit. Pretty good matches. We clean house pretty quickly. Douglas comes up, and who's on the other side of the ring except his little girl? And they come to the realization that, well, this is a to-death fight pit. And so they've got to figure out a way out of it. Douglas and Soma come up with a plan to fake a takedown. But Douglas decides he needs to teach his little girl a lesson.
On accident. Alright, it was on accident, I swear.
We'll
Boy.
get to your side of the story in a minute, Gabriel says, not sounding pleased.
Arthur leans towards you, Douglas, and he says, "Now, what was it you said, boy? You made
I
your
don't
bed.
know.
Now fucking lie in it." After telling
remember
this
that.
to his daughter,
I don't remember that at all.
You
But-
did! You
Yeah.
DM
Yeah, you
exclusion,
said that.
you really those were your exact words. You made your bed, now you gotta lie in it. That's what you said before you started fist fighting Katya.
Douglas is just like biting his finger, just
now, after telling his own flesh and blood to deal with the consequences, they start fighting. It looks playful at first, but it stops getting playful after a minute. He starts wailing on her. She starts wailing on him. She can't take it. Doesn't want to kill her old man, so she freaks out. And pressure's too much. And that
It was decent.
sickness flares up.
I guess you do for the beef.
She's starting to go crazy, and he dives on top of her and disappears. Completely gone in the blink of an eye. Soma sits by and does fuck all. And decides he's just gonna do his fight and figure it out later. And we get to that fight. Steps into the ring with a real scary son of a bitch. Some vampire or something. And he makes a plead to the hosts. Turn off the lights for a few seconds. And they do. I think this is part of the plan, that we're gonna do a good old-fashioned rigging to get this over faster. I climb up on top of the cage, ready up a shot. Then he says it. Bloody Mary. Says it again. And before I can even let out a shot, he says it a third time. Whole room goes cold, goes silent. There's a few seconds of conversation between the two of them. I blink. Everybody in that room is dead. Barring me and a handful of people, I guess he decided were still useful. And, she's gone. I heard what they said. He offered her his fealty, his soul, effectively, and in exchange, jack fucking shit. He basically just said, you can kill all these people except for a couple. In exchange, I'll do whatever the fuck you want. Probably the worst deal I've ever seen anyone make.
You're forgetting the worst part of it, though, Versada says, looking up at you. That last little line he added at the end to her.
Right. Oh, you're gonna love this. The agreement that they made. They were planning to kill Death.
You hear a snap. The pen that Gabriel is writing with has just shattered in the immense pressure grip of his hand. He, with trembling fingers, clenches his fist for a moment to still them, reaches into his coat pocket, pulls out another pen.
Someone was planning on doing what?
Oh, you heard him.
Actually, Douglas didn't.
Well,
Douglas wasn't in the room. Yeah, so
you
Douglas
weren't there
missed that
for
little
it,
part. And Soma
I'm
didn't
pretty
tell
sure-
you.
Right, Soma did. Oh.
Soma doesn't tell anything to anyone that doesn't earn him something.
Right. Your little devil friend didn't tell you after he did it. He must have left that out after he begged you to help him out. Yeah. That family reunion thing, pretty sure that's what it's for. They're gonna try and kill Death, probably end the world somehow. And he wholeheartedly agreed to it in exchange for nothing. And then he didn't
Oh.
tell anybody.
So someone agrees to do that.
Douglas is literally like reeling in the background. Yeah, Douglas, Soma didn't tell you. Soma didn't tell you any of the agreement that he made with his big sister, did he?
Fucking Douglas just like puts his hands in his head. He just like turns completely around on the desk, facing away from everyone, just holding his hands in his hand.
Yeah,
Right.
he sold you out, boy. He sold us all out. He sold the whole fucking world. And, after that, because this isn't the end, this is just where it started. He, gets back to it like nothing happened. Turns around, says some convincing words about how it's done now and there's nothing that we can do about it, and how we still gotta take care of poor Dougie boy's little girl. I was ready to walk out. I should have. I should have put a bullet between his fucking eyes. But I didn't. For once in my life, I thought I was doing something right. Of course, I wasn't. We went to look for Douglas and Eliza and Katya, but when we got there, Douglas was there. Katya was there, but Eliza wasn't Eliza anymore. And the whole thing was a fucking mess. It all happened pretty fast. We were trying to get 2 unconscious bodies through the streets, trying to figure out what the hell was going on. And Eliza kept getting worse. Dropped her bird pet out to deal with us while Douglas was trying to deal with her. It got me pretty good. I felt that shit seep into my lungs, into my blood. That moment, I knew I was dead. I was dead. Just like the rest of these fucking idiots. And I decided if I was gonna go out, it was gonna be with a bang. So, end of the fight. Soma and the kid, they do some sort of weird ritual and teleport, vanish. My guess is that they went to the rest of their group. At least that was what they were saying.
This is also news to you, Douglas, because you don't remember Katya vanishing. You just remember coming out and she was gone. So was Soma.
Yeah.
And by the time Douglas came to, the 2 of us were pretty much dead. I'd lost a lot of blood. Don't even think I could really feel anything anymore. But and Rosado was stuck. Couldn't shoot, couldn't turn back into a person, couldn't do shit. But we weren't done. I wasn't done. Not just yet. Eliza turned into that thing. Douglas got up and he went to go deal with it. But I knew he wasn't going to be able to. He wasn't going to be able to do what he had to. I picked myself up, dragged myself, probably crawled about 2 hours, made it to the base of that thing, and started climbing. Got to the top. Douglas and a bunch of other people I'd never met before were standing there talking to what used to be Eliza. And we shared some words. He knows how I feel about him. And well, there was a bit of fighting, a bit of hostage taking, a whole lot of quippy one-liners thrown back and forth, and by the end, I told them all to fuck off. I think you remember that. And I got to thinking. And I realized something. And me and Rosada just... I don't know how to describe it. It was like every bit of bitterness from my entire life just flared up. All the loss, all the pain. I just took it all and poured it in, poured it out onto the rest of the world. And that's when everything started turning to salt. Took a while, too. Watching that thing squirm felt pretty good. It was... One moment it was on top of the world, could do whatever it wanted, saw nothing but ants around it. And one of those ants pissed in its eye, and it fucking blinked. But I guess it got tired of suffering, because it let her back out. And I was pretty much gone, but I could still hear things. Douglas came back, had a nice long conversation, took her head off. You know, it's funny, Douglas. All that talk, and I can't remember. She said she loved you more times than I could count, but I can't seem to remember you ever saying you loved her back. Oh well. Funny the things you forget about in the heat of the moment. Anyways, I thought it was
Just kind of sulking.
a pretty decent thing, what I did. Hurt a whole lot of good people, but well, I stopped that thing from hurting anymore. thought didn't make up for all the wrong I did, but felt like it was what I deserved. Felt like it was what that thing deserved. I was ready to wallow the rest of my days away in hell. You brought me back. You took that away from me. So, I'd answer all your questions.
Gabriel is sitting pensively in thought. He steels himself and straightens once more, his eyes moving towards Douglas.
Douglas's head is down.
I've heard the cowboy's side, and now I expect some answers from you.
What's that?
Is there anything you're not telling me? Anything that our friend here may have missed?
We said everything on the spot. Told every tale. All of our adventures together. What has happened. What did happen.
I'm still a little confused though. Why exactly did she lose control? I mean, you've told me about the fight, and I've heard that she wasn't herself anymore and left the fight scene, but I still don't understand what tipped her over the edge. I mean, from what you and your daughter have told me, I thought you could control this to some extent. That seems to be what Soma was pretty convinced of at the time, though my willingness to trust anything he says fades by the second.
Yeah, that's understandable. I thought I could too, but honestly, I don't know what tipped her over on that occasion.
So you don't know why she went over the edge.
Do you want me to fill you in real quick, Douglas? Because I remember.
Yeah, cause I completely forgot. It's been fucking
You
8
really
months.
don't
ago.
remember?
DM, am I
No,
allowed to
I don't.
Yes,
fill him in?
you are allowed. You're allowed to roll memory.
So, Eliza, Arthur doesn't know this, but I remember.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Eliza made a deal with her black blood demon.
Yeah.
Because Katya was losing it. It was a trade. Keep Katya from going, and she'd let herself go instead.
Okay. Douglas slowly remembers something. In this case, that he made a deal with her demon, saying that he could go over the edge and replace that Katya wouldn't go ever.
I mean, that's something you can do?
Apparently, I didn't know.
What is... how... Gabriel looks very confused. It doesn't make any sense. How can you make a deal with a sickness to make someone else less sick in exchange for your own? That doesn't...
Not a sickness, something that infects you, takes over you.
This is fucking demon.
Not so much a
Basically.
What Arthur said was it's not so much a sickness like common cold, but it's kind of like a demon slowly taking over you.
Feeds on all the shit inside of you. Makes you worse. offers you promises of grandeur.
Power, mostly.
So, have you been made the same offer, Douglas?
I mean, you keep calling for the most part. I've not met my demon yet. He lurks within. I know he does.
So it gets progressively worse, and then this demon that you speak of manifests. Is that what I'm understanding?
It's a sickness at the beginning, and it's a curse at the end.
Is there any way to determine how far along a person is before they lose themselves?
The way
Well, the
they
temper
act and the way they
tantrums
build
certainly
those.
are telling.
Yeah, the way they look, the way they act, and the way they build those. For me, my blood look doesn't look too good.
I'll have to take some samples from you.
You want to look now?
And your daughter, is she...
I don't know where she's at. I wish she did. I wish I did.
Probably
I
still
wish I knew
that
where she was.
fucking demon, if I had to guess.
We've
Or
gotta
he
get her
dropped her
away
off
from
with
him.
the babysitters.
I want her
Wouldn't
as
that
far
look
away
good?
from him as possible.
Who, me or him?
Soma. You,
Yeah, well, he's
haven't
holding
made
hands
my
with
mind up.
Katya's, from what I know, from what I remember, it's been a long time. Katya deeply trusted son. So if she's gonna hold hands with anyone, it's gonna be him.
Gabriel grimaces. Well, we're gonna have to see what we can do about that. In the meantime, I'd say we need to determine what we're gonna do with you three.
Gabriel, I just want to say I'm deeply sorry for everything I've done.
Gabriel looks at you, and it is hard to stomach the sheer disappointment on his face. Douglas,
Everything I've
she told you that this would happen, did she not?
we did.
She told you that in the end it was going to be painful, and that it was going to inflict loss, and yet you decided to keep her with you.
I did.
And now we are faced with a similar situation.
What she had said.
You're pretty heavily
Gabriel,
infected at this point, aren't you?
I imagine so. Gabriel, I have a question for you.
Ask.
What do you want to do with me?
What I want to do with you.
Yeah. What do you want over what you need?
Right now, right this second, what I want to do.
You want to kill me, don't you?
You see his hand shaking.
You hate everything I've done. Every
I
single action I've done up to this point,
What I
protecting her.
want to do is hug you.
Why?
Because this
Why
is
do you,
not a decision that a child should have had to make.
are you talking about Katya?
I'm talking about you.
about me.
I am gravely disappointed in you, but I can't say that I didn't expect this. If Angel is right about anything, it's in her outcome plotting. She knew this was going to happen, we all did. But this was
What?
your choice to make.
For Yokohama to fucking explode and
Look,
me kill her.
I... We tried to warn you, Douglas.
I know you did. I tried everything in my fucking power to stop it. If I were to live a normal fucking life, what should I do at this point? Try to find my daughter who I have no idea exists. She might be dead for all I know.
You have the ring, don't you?
Douglas looks down at his hand.
The ring that you have with Katya is inseparable.
I've been off for a couple of weeks, so everything's still coming back.
Do you feel anything from it?
Do I feel anything from it?
Roll?
Like fucking 2 9%ers in. So like I'm kind of slosh right. 14.
14?
Yeah.
You feel focusing in on the ring. It's far away. You can tell she is nowhere close to you, but somewhere in the distance you feel distress. A grave amount of distress. Katya is very upset about something. But she's alive.
Oh, Gabriel. I'll take back the last thing I said. She is alive. Some sort of distress or pain is coming over her. Feel about it.
He doesn't exactly look relieved to hear this.
What I think is she's with someone, person I'd given all my trust to. So she's under distress with someone. And she hasn't keep his part of the deal.
Then I
Greatly
feel that that's the real question here.
what, Gabriel?
You
What is it? Real question.
you told me that you would be able to put her down. Both of them, if they went too far.
I think Eliza, Soma, both of them.
It seems you had a little help with Eliza.
I did. I had Arthur's help, and I deeply appreciate it. Even though I might should not show it, I deeply appreciate his help in putting Eliza to rest.
Then herein is the issue. I am convinced that whatever this is, this demon, gives immense power. And unfortunately, in the current state of the DWMA, I think that somebody else with the same problem may be the only thing strong enough to stop it.
Someone likely with black blood, you know what you're talking about? Someone afflicted with a horrible fucking sickness that has caused me deep pain for everything I've loved and everyone I've cared for.
It's highly infectious. But
I know it is.
killing you doesn't solve anything. Killing you
Yeah.
just means it's another dead body in the wake of whatever this is. Leaving you alive,
I wish that.
incarcerated here, allows us to try and study it some more.
So, what, you want to study me again? A couple of months, just like someone else did.
I'm not
They promised
finished.
me a way out.
I said that was one option. 2 counting killing you. But the third option is against my better judgment. Should you be able to prove that you have enough of your faculties about you, then I let you out with the sole purpose of finding Katya and making sure this doesn't happen again. And
That sounds
you,
familiar.
he points at Arthur, you're the only thing that stopped this. I don't know if you're still capable of doing whatever you did, but I know that you have the experience. I know you've seen what too far looks like. Now, I could leave you here locked in a jail cell to deal with all these crimes that you speak of. Or I could offer you a chance to repay the debt you owe to society.
All right. He looks over to Douglas and he says, "You know, I've been fantasizing about every which way I would cut you up
I know you have. I can
for the
tell from the look
past
in your eyes.
3 weeks. But the
While I've
fact
been
is,
asleep.
it ain't. I may have had the right to condemn my father for how much of a piece of shit he was, but I don't have the right to do that to someone else's pa. If anyone's gonna be gutting you, it's gonna be her."
You're right.
Arthur picks himself up, kind of hobbling, and he says, "Too old to fuck around and too young to die. You're gonna find her.
Douglas also stands up.
You're gonna be a father. And you're gonna hope to God that she can forgive you for being such a piece of shit."
Douglas walks towards the glass between Arthur and him. He says, "Yeah, I sure fucking hope so. After all the shitty decisions I've made, I sure hope you can forgive me. Probably not. You know, why not try, right?"
I mean, you can't do worse than you already have been.
What,
But,
blow up a city?
But maybe you can do a little better.
Give her a proper uprising? Teach her thing?
Be a parent.
Be a parent? Yeah, that's important. I wish I could do.
Trust me, kid. I saw too much of myself in that kid.
Ooh, and my daughter?
Yeah,
Or my best friend?
in her.
Yeah.
If she don't got parents, she's gonna wind up just like I did. Bitter, angry, and surrounded by a whole lot of dead bodies.
Yeah. She already heard her fair share. I'm not the most proud of, but she's got some talent.
Besides, if there is some way around this, I mean, it's a demon, right? So
Oh.
you just gotta not
Soma? My fucking
the blood.
brother? Oh, the shit that infects me, my daughter, and my
It's a demon.
parents.
The only way to win against a demon is to not let it win. Not give it what it wants.
Yeah,
carve it out.
yeah.
Keep in mind this is on a probationary status.
Yeah, I've been on probation before. I know.
He
I don't
eyes
think
both
I
of you.
have.
Look, you guys, you're on your last
I
life
was,
here.
I was told that before. I was
You're
taken away
burning your
for a
last
couple.
get out of jail free card, alright? If I catch you doing something I don't like, you're gonna be right back here in this cell. Or worse. Angel's not
But
playing around anymore. Not with everything that's happening right now. We're losing entire branches across the globe. We cannot afford any more mistakes. Are we clear?
yep.
You are going to find
Spe-
Katya.
Speaking of which, how's Russia doing?
He grimaces. It's not good.
Definitely one of the last things I remember is something about Russia.
Your teammates are there. The ones
How do
that
we end up there?
you had before you disappeared off the campus for some mysterious reason.
Yeah. I spent a lot of months hating those months, being fucking researched, watching Eliza get dissected, pulled apart,
You were
just for
telling me
me.
somebody else was researching her?
Yeah, there was someone else researching her, researching me as well.
Great.
She was patient. She was patient zero. Of course.
He
It's the one-
slams his hand against the glass wall. It's strong enough to contain it, but there's a vibration in both of your cells. It feels like
Doug,
we're two steps
Douglas gets closer
behind
to the glass.
everyone else.
Douglas gets closer to the glass. So Gabriel, to the one who saved me, the one who regrets that decision every day, what do you want to do? You want to go find my little crew? Have them fucking hate me? And find my daughter? See what the fuck I can do about it?
I think you deserve the
Let's go.
chance to try and make this right. And if nothing else, to be the one to deal with the problem.
My brother that I made a deal with. Someone show or Douglas shows the what is it? The
The
ring, I
tattoo.
guess. Yeah, the tattoo on his arm.
Gabriel looks at it somberly. You need to understand, Douglas, there is no talking your way out of this one. He's
Figured.
not the same person you thought you knew. Maybe you did know him at one point, maybe you didn't. Maybe it was all a lie, I don't know. But the fact of the matter is, he's on the Shinigami list now.
Oh shit.
Soma Ashford is wanted in every aspect of the globe. Every academy has his picture posted, and the second he shows his face, there's nothing I or any of you will be able to do to stop
So
the harvest.
Gabriel. Yeah, for a second. He took my last name. That's nice of him. Guess he actually thought I was a brother to him, which I appreciate.
I'd like to think that before whatever happened in Japan happened, that he was different, that he wasn't masquerading this whole time. But I simply don't know.
He always seemed very genuine to me, even through all of our fuck ups and every mission we've done together. He's always seemed genuine to me.
Then
That's why I
something
accepted that. That's why I accepted that deal.
something must have happened then.
Less of a less of a deal and more of an agreement, right? That we would become each other's brothers. I was his brother. He was my brother. We would know. We would know each other. Where I was, where he was. Maybe not so much that, but that we were connected one way or another.
I'm genuinely sorry that you've been put through this. Whether at your fault in part or whole. It's not fair that you've had to deal with it. It's not fair to any of you. But here we are.
From you, I appreciate it. Person I never thought I'd gotten an apology from.
I'm a doctor.
Gabriel himself, you know, one of the head honchos who don't give a fuck about anyone below him, right? It's some random ass dude who thought he'd save his fucking girlfriend. One who cared about so goddamn much that she brought him here, right? Some fucking nobody. But look at you. He actually apologized. I appreciate it.
Eliza was a good person.
Yeah, he tried everything in his power to help me.
Ground rules. You do not resonate with anybody other than Katya. I don't want this infection spreading. In fact, try not to make any physical contact with anyone, period. Your sole purpose in life right now is to find her and keep this Armageddon from happening all over again. And Arthur, you are gonna make sure that he does that. And should you run into Soma,
Oh, I'm gonna kill the bastard. Or he's gonna kill me.
Hello.
welcome
Eat
back.
dinner.
Hello.
I was trying to talk the entire time.
Damn.
So, Douglas was gonna say to Gabriel, he was gonna be like, "Hey, so what about this?" He's gonna show him the dagger. What about this, Gabriel? What about this dagger?
I couldn't bear to take it from you. When somebody grants a weapon form on death, it's no one's place to take it away. That being said, she was
But it's still
highly
dripping
infected.
lifeblood. So, even though being told by Anna, a person I've never met in my life, those two people, I don't even know the second person, man. To stop, should I still do it? Should I take over her
Look, man,
phone?
the only reason I told you to stop is because you were about to stab yourself in your sleep. I don't know
Oh,
you
no
from
shit.
Adam. I don't know what the fuck's going on. This is the first I've heard of it, and god damn is this situation crazy.
Yeah, I know.
Anna's sort of gone cross-eyed, so
Like Gabriel, do you trust me? Inheriting her form?
It would be wrong of me to tell you not to, but you need to be ready to deal with the consequences. But at this point,
I'm sure.
you're already infected. Does it make
Yeah, I
it
know.
worse? I don't know.
You want to see what happens?
The the priest in me says no, but
The scientist in you says yes.
he sighs. Yeah.
did I get ready for battle form?
All right. Well,
Arthur take
Arthur?
a considerable step backwards
Away from
towards
the glass!
the other end of the cell.
Arthur, what do you say? Should I stab myself with this blade?
Look, kid, I'm gonna be real with you. I don't think that's her anymore.
Why not?
Maybe.
It's still her form, right?
I mean, look at it. It's fucking fit to burst with that shit.
Same with me. Huh. Fucking detective too.
Traditionally, weapons pass on their abilities with their weapon form, so if she had something that was of value, if her attacks
did.
were powerful, then it could be worth trying to obtain them, but
Gabriel, how do you think that me and Katya got out of that fighting ring?
I don't know, that was another unanswered question of mine.
Because of Eliza. Because of this form. Because of her power.
Telling me she can teleport?
Exactly that. She's able to. I don't even know the fucking words for it. But she was able to change the way that space, fucking, the way that things worked. I don't know. I remember teleporting 3 fucking miles one time because of her. She felt like it.
And here I thought she was just an ice wielder.
No, she never was. That
Where
was
did
because of the bird. That was because of Frostwind. Not because of her.
the astral. Right. She had that celestial creature with her. Well,
The only reason why she had Frost is because of the bird, Frostwing, who is also my friend. I cared for that bird, and apparently he died too, right, Arthur?
Yeah, we killed it.
sorry, kid, Versada says under her breath.
It
Figured
was
so much.
trying to maul us.
Yeah, I mean, but he was infected with the black blood too, right? Trying to
Oh,
kill y'all?
extremely. I didn't even know that thing was supposed to be made out of ice. It looked like it was just
Bleeding, black,
the blood.
everywhere.
I
Yeah.
thought it was something that she conjured up out of herself.
No, that was a whole perfectly normal bird trying to be very friendly. Yeah, taken over by something much more evil. Which I'm very sad to this day about.
Well, if you're gonna do it, this is the best place to. At least you're contained for the most part. Just try not to. He smiles. Turn into a giant city consuming demon, would ya?
If you're gonna let that thing
Gabriel,
in, kid,
I
can't
haven't
give it
known
an
Berkey
inch.
for a while, and you've seen a lot of things. Do you trust? Do you truly trust me to do this? I know you've seen a lot more than what other bullshit Eliza or me have done. But do you trust me doing this?
He looks at you. I watched you kill Eliza. I think you can handle it.
Douglas smirks. Whatever you say, man. Douglas grabs the blade and twists it, facing him. Says, any last objections?
Judah, like, raises a hand and then slowly lowers it in the background.
Are you sure you don't got
Uh,
anything to say about this situation?
Anna puts on her ears.
Slowly
Just
wrapping
getting
the
ready.
cloak around her.
The two I don't know. I've only met today. Do you have anything to say about me going through with this? I know you don't know me much. You've only seen me in my sleep. Well, I've been sleeping for what? Past month?
Listen, kid.
Whatever Arthur said.
I've seen a lot of things in my time here. I mean, Anna and I, we've been here since we were what, 3? I mean, you were practically born here. We see people
Yeah.
die a lot, but we ain't seen anything the likes of this. So, uh, more power to you if you want to try and, you know, inherit your girlfriend's weapon form, but I gotta say, you go crazy, I'm gonna kill you.
Douglas holds out a hand like a handshake. You promise?
She glances at Anna and then puts her hand against the glass. I swear, as a paragon of the DWMA, I will have
One more
no
thing.
problem using my holy bow to put you down.
Figured. What about one more thing on top of that then? You promise my daughter will be okay?
She squints at you.
I know I've only been awake for less than 3 hours, but can you promise that my daughter will be okay?
I can't make that promise for her. It
I know
seems
you
to
can.
me like the individual is the one who chooses whether to go over the edge or not in the end. So really, you need to be asking her that.
Sadly, I can't. 'Cause I don't know where she's at. I think she might be in Russia, though.
Well, then it sounds to me like you need to buck up and quit being a deadbeat dad and get this over with so you can go find her. She crosses her arms, looking smug.
Douglas takes back his hand. He's all like, you know what? You fuck it. You know what? You're right. He has two hands on the dagger. He's all like, he like stares at it for a second. He's all like, well, I thought I was gonna fucking stab myself with a goddamn dagger made for my old girlfriend. He just jams it into his stomach.
Douglas, roll a constitution save.
Their constitution?
Uh-huh.
Ruh-roh.
Alright. Oh, no fucking shit. Yeah. That 20.
There is a... I want to call it a flash, but it's not light, it's darkness. And all of the sudden, you hear jazz music. You start hearing jazz music and as the flash of darkness begins to fade out a bit, you realize you're not in the cell anymore. You're in your cabin, in your inner room. Except there's jazz music playing. Sounds like possibly from a record, maybe. And you notice as you're looking around the cabin, the lights dim in a soft mood setting. You're not by yourself. You see a figure. She's standing across the cabin from you, standing in front of a window, looking out towards the ocean beyond, rain pattering against the windows. And it's dim in here, but her silhouette, it looks familiar. The
Douglas
build.
cocks his head to the side. Eliza, is that you?
The figure doesn't move.
Or is that Azile?
It doesn't move. Do you approach?
Yeah, he approaches.
You start walking forward. You see the shape. You see the outline of her shoulders. Her body, it looks like her, except you can see the top of her head. There's a set of horns jutting out on either side. She
It's gotta
seems
be
to
Azile,
be...
right?
Looks like a black long dress, black gloves on her hands. Her hair's pulled back, the teal blue, in a very, very long braid that stretches down her back.
So you're telling me you're not Azile? Because you're not responding to the name.
Do you touch her?
I give her a slap on the back, you know, because Douglas is fully expecting this to not be Eliza.
You reach out to, you know, touch her to hit her on the back, and she's suddenly not in front of you.
Hmm.
She's right behind you. You hear a voice cut in, and it sounds so sweet. It's like honey almost, with a touch of hellfire. Well, my, it is a pleasure to meet you.
Who are you?
You turn to look and you see it's Eliza's body, but it's not her face. There's a strange mixture of the way her face and the soul that you possessed, the two girls mixed in one. And at times, as you watch her, it almost seems like she doesn't have a face at all. Every once in a while, a little flicker.
So you've taken over the girl I see, or she gave her life for, and then her. Is that what you've done?
She smiles at you. A warm, but also a touch malicious.
Let me ask you this real fast. What's your name?
She extends a hand to you. You can call me South.
South?
She nods, holding her hand out expectantly.
It's a good name. Douglas turns around and walks away slowly, out towards the window.
Oh. She lowers her hands, watching you. Not one for formalities, I see.
No, not right now.
Hmm.
So what do you do? What is your purpose here?
Well, my purpose is to assist you.
Really assist me.
Of course. You called me here. I answered.
This is the first time I've heard that from one of your kind.
One of my kind. And what am I exactly? She's suddenly sitting on the windowsill just next to you. Her pale
You're a
skin
black
eerie in the moonlight.
Douglas smirks because you're a demon, right? Black blood demon, like all the elf and all the others had, right?
You know, it's rude to assume that a girl's like every other girl, right?
Yeah, I know, but
True, I
after a
am
pattern,
of...
after a pattern comes up, you just slowly assume that for the worst, right? Hope you know that. It's nothing against you specifically, but it just is what it is.
I am of infernal descent, I suppose you could say. But I'm not this Azile you speak of. I'm not Eliza either. Not exactly. I simply
What
take the
about
form of what you're longing for.
what about her? The down and spent so long.
You have many pieces connected to your soul as of right now.
Yeah, my soul isn't fully
I'm
intact. It's not really my soul anymore, is it?
I'm simply utilizing the tools that you have given me. Now,
And what is that? What tools have I given you?
well, you've given me faces, bodies. I'm trying to
Weapons?
form to a shape that is somewhat aesthetically pleasing to you.
Okay,
I'll
I
be
can
whatever
understand.
you want me to be, she smiles. And for a moment, the flicker of the face, she looks exactly like Eliza. The warm, gentle smile that you've known with a touch of ice.
Is Cyrus getting raised by a black blood demon?
Yes.
Oh God.
So said anything, right?
I said I can take the form of anything aesthetically pleasing to you, but that's not why I'm here.
So let me ask you a question then. So you can take any form. Can you be a potted plant for me? The one thing that truly stays constant in my life, hasn't changed.
I suppose I could, but that would make this a little difficult now, wouldn't it? She's
Why?
behind you, tracing her fingers across your shoulders.
Why would it make it difficult?
I'm here to talk to you one-to-one. A potted plant doesn't really give that effect, now does it?
Yeah, it does. Why not? Why doesn't the potted plant get that?
She flashes in front of you, holding out a hand. Well, you can't dance with me if I'm a plant, now can you?
I've already danced with one person who I care about. Why do you want to dance with me?
To distract you from
Wrong.
all of the outside effects, so that your focus is entirely on me. One little dance isn't gonna hurt you, Douglas.
Here, give me 1 second. 1 second.
Oh, good time for me to interrupt. So is Douglas getting? Is he in cooked or fuck it we ball mode?
Perhaps somewhere in between.
So cooked and W skibbity?
There's a flip of a coin here.
There's very
we're
much
still
a
trying
flip
to
of a
figure it
coin.
He's got the choice.
There's
Yeah.
very much several routes that this can go right now, so I'm just waiting on him.
I just hope it doesn't end in him getting cooked. Also,
Especially
while
since-
he's gone. Oh, wait, what?
Oh, especially since if that happens, my character might die before I even get to play them.
Anna's not gonna
Oh.
die. Anna's not gonna die before you get to play him, I promise. I don't do that to new players.
Also, speaking of Phil, did you like the art?
Yes, I did. I don't think I expressed it enough when I said thank you, but yes,
Yeah.
it was beautiful.
Hell yeah. Yeah, I meant for so long to draw Pidge, but I kept forgetting to ask to get details on Pidge.
Yeah, that was my bad.
Oh,
That was my
yeah.
bad.
I meant to draw
I've been
Pidge.
meaning
like,
to ask. I've been meaning to ask about Pidge.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, you can ask for
I'm-
art anytime.
my
I draw enough
anxiety, especially since, as how I compartmentalize, I generally keep you guys as my D&D friends.
That's fair.
So
Yeah.
reaching
always
out
pretty
beyond that
Yeah.
is hard.
That's fair. I understand.
I
that.
feel that.
Yeah, but you can always ask for art. God knows I do plenty of art for everyone else. So.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Ugh. But since you
I've
have a new
always wanted to
character-
get like an actual Pidge art because I've gotten a bunch of details about her, but
I'll do
Yeah.
a portrait for Pidge.
yeah. Well, thank you.
Yeah, of course.
Rest in peace. Pidge.
Rest in peace.
Hey,
Rest in peace, Pidge.
Hey, he's back. Douglas.
he's so fast.
So we cooked Douglas.
Don't worry. I heard the entire conversation between y'all.
He just needs to lock in. Don't worry about
Just
it.
lock in, Cyrus.
Cyrus, I need you to lock in. I need you to
We need you
focus.
to lock-
There's a very attractive woman holding a hand out to you asking for a dance. Do you take it?
I need you to pay very close attention to the details around the
I just said
situation.
one to my girlfriend. Give me a second. I'm sorry.
Good.
So I'm two chew highs in. They're like fucking 9%ers, and they're like massive. And so I'm actually
Oh.
feeling buzzed right now.
Oh god.
Oh shit.
Oh
I
boy.
just
Oh,
drank a
this should
fuckload
make
of
this
vodka
even more
earlier.
fun.
So like I've been buzzed this entire time. Like ever since like Douglas started eating tacos.
Ever since Douglas started eating
Douglas is
tacos, I've
drunk
been
on
buzzed
tacos.
the whole time.
Douglas is drunk on time.
He's experiencing the taco buzz.
Oh,
Yeah,
dear
the
God.
the main reason I was lost of contact for a while is because my phone was dead after I drank a fuckload of vodka and a drinking game. So
Your girlfriend wants me to make her a ponytail now, so give me 1 second.
Oh, God.
understandable.
Will
Well, while
Douglas
he's-
die because of tacos?
Or will he die?
Stay
because
tuned!
he keeps leaving.
Oh no, Anna's responsible
I
for
can't.
Douglas'
Oh
death.
god. Oh god. I can't do this. Where's your hair tie?
Is she
Can't
dead?
believe
currently?
Liam,
Alright.
you never
Killed.
put my hair in a ponytail for me.
Yeah,
You
Liam.
don't.
I don't know how to do it. You guys
You
really
never
can't
have.
do it.
You never put my hair in a ponytail for me.
Liam,
What?
you have to pull out the autism riz. You gotta have a hyperfixation on learning how to do everything girl-related for a while, so you can do it for your girlfriend.
God.
What about
I'm sorry, my-
hyperautism? What the fuck were y'all talking about?
Autism
My
riz.
my autistic fixation is armor.
That's fair.
I can't stop. I
Dress her up
can't.
in armor.
Look, if
It's
I could
dissecting
afford
characters.
full plate armor, I would be doing the full plate armor riz right now.
We would be doing that.
Oh, I should introduce you to one of my friends. He's literally he's the owner of a training company for like reenactments, medieval
Oh,
reenactments,
shit.
That's
and
awesome.
he trains a bunch of people for the medieval fair over in Norman,
That's
Oh,
amazing.
that's sick.
That's cool.
and he owns like an entire arsenal of weapons and armor.
Oh my fucking god.
Oh yes. Also, I don't
I'm
know.
jealous because he's like extremely talented. He's learned every single weapon.
I need
Damn.
I need to become exorbitantly rich so that I can just own an
Real.
arsenal.
Real. The most I own is several replicas of bleach swords.
I'm mad.
I've got a solid claymore.
Douglas is buzzed,
yeah.
according to my girlfriend. According to Amy, Douglas is buzzed.
Oh my god, Amy is actually present with us? Oh my god.
Oh my God.
He's been
Holy
I've heard so
shit.
much.
this entire time.
I've heard her interjecting every once in a while. So.
Yeah,
Dude, like, I know Cyrus hears me, but dude, hearing Cyrus talk to his girlfriend over the phone is the most adorable thing I have ever heard in my life.
Why? Why is that?
Dude, do you hear the way you talk to your own girlfriend? It's adorable.
No, I don't hear the way I talk to my own girlfriend.
Like, if I was a girl, I would be rizzed up. Like,
Hey,
Oh dear God.
why'd you put a fucking apple on the coaster?
God. Well,
Tell your girlfriend to watch out, Cyrus. Me and Dylan are after you.
tell your girlfriend I say that she's in good hands because with the way you talk to her,
Everyone says you're in good hands. You're goofy. You.
oh my lord.
I will meet her one day and then we will all
Ah.
do a group date
Yeah, you will. One of these days.
one of these days.
One of these days.
Bring her with you to California. You know you want to.
She might go to California by herself without me. So
That's fair.
you just yelled, sorry.
Also, DM,
Yes.
how do you feel about the character?
I'll tell you later. I'm still waiting on Douglas to
That's fair.
tell me what's
Yeah.
happening.
Yeah.
Okay,
I'm with
so
you.
oh,
Douglas.
sorry.
Cooked or locked in? Call
Let
it.
me,
Lock in,
I'm
Douglas.
still locked in.
Call it.
Alright, so
I
what
can't
just
call it
happened?
for you.
So, to recap, you're in your inner room. There's a very attractive, possibly demon, holding her hand out to you, asking you to dance. Do you take it?
Possibly.
Douglas once again turns around, just starts walking off to the other window.
You can't keep ignoring me forever. You're going to have to talk to me.
I am tired.
Hmm.
Why am I ignoring you? How am I ignoring you?
Listen, there seems to be some sort of misunderstanding here. I'm not
What is that?
here to harm you in any way.
Neither was all the other ones.
Uh-huh.
Your point is,
No offense, but your girlfriend's demon was a bit on the wild side. She had no control over her emotions, and she had no control over it. There was no relationship between them.
A freak for real.
Wasn't. Yeah, I know. I met her.
She was power hungry.
So you knew her? How'd you know her?
No is a strong word. In the same manner that I come from her remains, you could say.
Yeah, I figured, because came from Eliza's dead body.
Actually, I didn't. I merely gained enough power from you absorbing her to come into existence. So thank you
So
for
what, you
that.
finally came from me?
Yes, you created me.
You are my.
Oh, I am all yours,
Why
she
did it
says.
crash? Why did it crash? Okay, sorry. So you're my black blood demon.
I am. I am all yours and I am not going anywhere. So, you might as well have this conversation with me now. Otherwise, things are going to be a little tense in here.
I don't want tense. Just understanding. Not dance for now, right? Is that fine with you?
Fine. But you will talk to me. She's sitting on the windowsill again.
I'm one with the couch in the chair. So what do you need to talk?
Look, I am not like. What was her name?
Oh,
Azile.
yeah.
I'm not here to try and take you over. My goal isn't to devour you from the inside out, at least not yet.
Well, that's a relief,
I am
I guess.
simply here to offer you my aid for the time being.
Why for the time being?
Well, you saw what happened with Eliza. These deals, you give a little bit of yourself each time. It's not
Yeah.
my fault. I'm not trying to take away from you. It's just simply how the deal works.
Yeah, it is.
I can offer you strength in your time of need. Should you call on me, I can give you power the likes of which you've never seen. But it's gonna cost a little bit each time. And there will be a
Yeah.
time, Douglas. I've seen how you and your friends operate. You will be in trouble, and you will come crying to me for aid. Things
Yeah.
always tend to go, she smiles a little, south.
Yeah, it does. Do you want to take from me, or is that just your job? Is it a need or is it a want?
Saying it's a job is a bit of a harsh description. I
I'm not,
exist here.
not trying to be mean. I'm just purely curious because I was never able to have these conversations with Azile or
Hmm.
Chia's demon.
Well, they are different. We're not all the same. We're not made of the same material. And we don't
We don't
feed
even
on
think.
the same emotions.
I understand that, but is it a job or is it a need? Is it a want or is it a need? Should I say?
If you're asking me if I want you, Douglas, the answer is yes. Just not in the same
Huh.
way you think.
Want to take over my body and use me as whatever the hell you need? Yeah, that's what I mean by want.
I take no pleasure in the idea of your diminished capacity. You intrigue me.
Why do I intrigue you?
You're different. The choices you make are funny sometimes. Sometimes they have grave consequences, but mostly your relationship with the little one I find fascinating.
Like what? What? Give me an example. I'm interested. What consequence? What decision did I make funny to you? Because we weren't able to exist until now, but you were able to see, right? You saw what happened.
I suppose, in a sense, I more felt than saw. I feed on your visceral emotions and your memories. So, I didn't see it when it happened, but I can see it now. I can see everything. Back to the moment you worked in that lumber mill when you were a child. When that man beat your girlfriend in front of you. When your
Yeah.
parents died. When you escaped. I can see all of it, but I wasn't
Yeah.
there when it happened.
Fun, right? Fun memories to look upon.
It turned you into what you are.
Because,
And I suppose now you have a choice to make. You could, of course, work with me. Make a deal. We can be partners. Or you could try and get rid of me, I suppose, which won't go well for you, darling, I can tell you right now.
so they seem somewhat better than the others. So where's this deal you want to make with me?
It's quite
I know you want
simple.
to take up my better. You want to take my body one way or another. So more pleasing to deal with. What is this deal?
The deal is, you come to me. We have an understanding. You need strength. I give it. It costs you. That's it. I will not try and take you over. I will simply offer what I can to keep you alive. After all, if you die, I die. And I would very much prefer to avoid that incident.
The symbiotic relationship we have, don't we?
Quite so. Should you, of course, lose yourself to your more visceral emotions, I may not be able to contain myself. But that's on you.
Do you have visceral emotions? So,
Me? Not yet. Haven't developed those.
what do you feel right
What do I feel? She
now? Yeah.
smiles. Hungry.
Or
Hmm.
red, my blood. What do you
I
feel?
have a certain taste of yours that I've been developing. I can feed off of several emotions, but there's one in particular that I do find very tasty.
So I'm not very sick. You guys feed off emotions, don't you?
Quite so. So you're going to be feeding me regardless of whether we work together.
Sure. And since we're making a deal, what emotion does feed you the most?
Your rage.
Why so?
Why does one hate the taste of watermelon and like the taste of chocolate? I can't explain my taste to you. It simply is.
Fair enough. So your deal is that if I need power, I come to you, and you don't want to take it over. Is that right? Not a willing choice, but something that just happens.
Correct. You come to me, I aid you. But should you lose yourself in your rage, then we're gonna do a little trade.
Okay. Is that a deal?
She's suddenly behind you again, holding her hand out.
Douglas
tell
turns
me.
around.
She looks you in your eyes. She looks strikingly like Eliza, the only difference being the horns. So,
So,
do
that's
we
your
have a
turn.
deal?
I don't want to fight you. And you only want to help me, right?
Of course. We're in this together
Well,
after all.
you're in my body, and I'm in my own body.
Two souls in one. It's like marriage, in a way, isn't it?
Well, no, there's a lot more souls than me, right? You got a couple others, but sure.
They're all a part of you. You're the only one in charge here right now.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
She's holding her hand out patiently.
Douglas holds his arm up, shakes her hand. You promise, right? This is the deal. You don't try to fuck me over. Some small line print type shit.
Of course.
Okay.
I'm just your little friend on the inside. Unless you lose control.
Of course.
Now, I think there's some people waiting for you, so she snaps her fingers in front of your face, and you are immediately assaulted by bright lights on all sides. The rest of you, Arthur, you are standing in the corner of the room, and you watch with Gabriel, with Anna and Judah, as he drives the dagger directly into his abdomen, and then he collapses. A pool of dark liquid begins to emit around his body, and the dagger disappears.
So do I get to shoot him yet, or?
Give him a moment. If he turns into a giant plant monster, be my fucking guest, Gabriel says, pushing his glasses up.
I don't think I'm still gonna be alive if that happens.
Yeah, I might kill all four of us at this rate. He
I'm so
doesn't
sorry.
move for a long minute, and then his body suddenly twitches as he inhales a sharp breath, his eyes shooting open. Douglas, you awake on the floor in a pool of black blood.
My own blood.
Yep.
Douglas slowly gets onto like his knees.
You notice that the dagger is no longer in your hand or laying anywhere.
So guys, I lived.
Yay!
I lived, bitch.
Holy shit, he's not dead, Judah says.
I had a long talk with someone.
Someone, Rasada does the air quotes again.
Yeah, it's a it's a long story, but this person is now part of me.
Well, we got nothing but time, so I'd be happy to learn about this person.
Yeah, so you know how all the rest of them had Electro had demons, you know, Eliza had Azile, you know, that kind of thing.
Touch it.
Arthur.
Right.
Well, now I have my own. Finally, after all this time.
And did you make a deal with it?
I made my very flat terms, and they made theirs. They're very different about their wants. Their name is Self.
What the fuck happened to not giving it an inch?
I didn't give it an inch. I gave it very flat terms. It's not going to touch me as long as I give it, as long as I come to it.
That sounds like you're playing right into his hands, if you ask me.
I probably am. In the long scheme of things, but let's hope not, right?
I mean, we're a bit beyond hoping now. You need to think about the consequences of your actions.
Well, he's not
I did.
a plant monster, Judah says from the side.
True.
I'm not a plant monster. So, you
I don't
you
have
guys
the
don't have to
instinct
worry
to
about that.
immediately blow him away.
You guys still worried about me fucking turning or something? You want to still see my blood? See what it
It
looks
ain't
like
about it ain't about the blood. It's about the decisions you make. You let that thing win, and it's gonna be bad for everybody, including your daughter.
now? It wasn't a win, it was a tie.
For now.
For now. What Gabriel said. It chased
Yeah,
me. I kept walking away from it. I kept walking away from it and it kept following me throughout my inner space.
that's a demon for you, kid. They're gonna bother you until you give them what they want. They're gonna make your life hell for you until you give them what they want.
I talked to him for a long time. He didn't want that. I don't know how truthful it is, but
Nah, see, kid,
so,
this is how it
no,
works.
I know. I've seen it with Eliza, right? But still, like, probably it's not like I could just leave without talk. I had to talk to it eventually, so I made my peace. And y'all can kill me whenever you want. I'm gonna help the best of my ability to right my wrongs. Y'all take with what Gramps thought I say. Do with them what you want.
Well, just to be safe, I'd like to keep you under observation for a few days, just to make sure this isn't a fluke, Gabriel says, walking toward the door.
That's fun. I know you can't trust my word anymore, especially working with my brother.
Unfortunately, you speak the truth. I
Douglas gets smart.
I'm going to keep you all in quarantine for a few more days, and should you prove that you can maintain yourselves, then you will be released on probationary status. I've already been given permission to offer this course of action from the top. But again, should you break any of these rules, so help me.
Yeah, preacher boy. Death, imprisonment, something worse.
And Gabriel.
He smiles at you and he says, Oh, I could do worse. This is the judge's home branch, after all.
Welcome to the
Hey,
Much
family,
worse.
son.
Do you ever regret not killing me since the first time we ever met?
Gabriel stops as he's walking toward the door. You don't want me to answer that.
I do. Genuinely. It would bring me peace. I think you're a decent person,
He doesn't look at
somewhat
you.
friend of mine. Do you wish I was dead ever since we first met?
He stands there for a long moment. Sometimes, if I'm being honest with myself, sometimes I sit there at night and I think, had we just killed you in the death room when we found out about the infection outright, then none of this would have ever happened.
Gabriel, I appreciate that answer from you. I really do. Thanks for being honest with me. A lot of people are with me these days.
I would have saved you a lot of pain. It would have been a mercy killing. I just didn't know to what extent at the time.
So this gives us mark at Gabriel. I'll try to right my wrongs, and if I don't, feel free to cut my fucking head off.
Penance is a long and difficult road. But I'm sure the three of you will at least make it an interesting one. And
I'll try.
he is going to walk out of the room.
I think we should go.
Yeah, Judah says and scurries after him.
Leaving too.
Anna, everything that you've heard from my mouth and from Arthur's mouth, what do you think of both of us? Think we should both die?
Doom and gloom
Everything
over
that you've
here,
heard.
Judah says, elbowing you.
I didn't hear the last two words, so I actually didn't know.
Oh. You think we should die? Even though we've never met properly.
From an outsider's perspective.
I don't think anyone should die. I think they can all improve.
Well, I appreciate it.
Anna, you and Judah follow Gabriel out to assist with whatever he's working on, and for a moment it's just Douglas, Arthur, and Rosada. With everything that you've just learned, is there anything you two want to say to each other?
So, Arthur,
So, killer?
do you still want to kill me?
Oh, more than anything.
Are you gonna kill me just yet?
Nope. Like I said, I ain't the one who's got to judge you. But I ain't gonna hesitate if I have to.
Thank you. And Arthur, after all the shitty things you've done throughout your life, you're a decent man. You're a kind soul.
Rosada starts cackling.
That's a good one. Especially coming from someone like you.
Douglas cracks a smile. He's like, yeah, I
The
know.
judge. Welcome.
I'm a piece of shit human being. So are you. Why don't we be pieces of shit until the last one of our days, right? Try and do something right.
Yeah.
How about this? If I do go crazy, right, lose it completely, I give you full honor of blowing my fucking brains out.
Mm.
No one else, just you.
Now that sounds like you shunting your responsibilities on me.
Oh, what? You don't want to blow my brains out, even though you just said
Oh,
you do?
I do. Believe me, I
Oh,
do.
oh, it doesn't sound like you do anymore.
Careful.
Douglas has this big ass smirk on his face.
I feel like if I give you too much hope that you can get out of the consequences of giving that thing what it wants, you're just gonna hand the keys over whenever it's convenient and let me deal with the problem.
Welcome to the family.
I'm not. Don't worry. I won't try to just hand over the keys to you.
I will hold you to that because you better believe the second I die, I am hunting you down in hell.
Oh, I know. You'll be my number one fan in hell. So, any last things?
Better hope that kid still wants you alive.
Oh, my daughter. Yeah, I fucking hope so. Yeah. He probably hates me at this point, which I'm very sad about. But I did what I had to do, sadly.
Rasada leans forward on the hospital bed, making eye contact with you. You swear to me, swear, that there ain't gonna be a problem between you and Soma when we run into him. Because it's gonna be a win. It's not gonna be an if. I don't want you turning your back on us at the last minute because of some brotherly fealty you're feeling.
I know you're gonna hate this answer, but it's gonna be a long, fought mental battle. But I'm gonna try to stay on your guys' as long as I can.
Douglas, when I find that fucking devil, I am gonna stop at nothing to make sure that he chokes in his own blood.
Assuming that
I
the
know.
girl doesn't beat her to it.
Yeah.
He's gonna die one way or another.
Yeah.
And if you or anybody else tries to get in the way of that, tries to save him, there's gonna be a whole lot more than just one body.
You know what, Arthur? Douglas puts his hand against the glass. I don't like making promises all that much, or even do. You never know what happens, right? No matter what situation happens. But I think I can make this a one-time exception that I promise I won't ever intervene with you or someone. If you find my brother, I will never intervene with what happens between you and him.
Well, last time a member of your group made a promise, I wound up dead, so.
Well, you're alive, right?
I'm breathing.
Somewhat alive.
Alive is a strong word. Feels more like borrowed time.
I'm sorry for that. I never meant to point you guys. You guys were never meant to be part of this whole fuckery if that happened. I do truly apologize. I know how much you guys don't trust my word,
Don't take it
but
personally. We don't trust anybody.
Don't
I know
worry
it's not.
about it, kid. You ain't even sorry. Not yet.
Yeah. Why don't I try to do this new shit that I inherited, right? The new dagger. Why not? It's just me, you, and her, right? See what happens.
Douglas, you hold your hand up and you focus, trying to draw on what you've known of Eliza, trying to draw on her abilities and trying to bring out the dagger. You feel something moving through you, a heat, and then immediate cold, arching up your nerves through your shoulder down into your hand as something begins to happen. But I'm gonna cut it right there.
Goddamn.
Yippee!
God damn.
Arthur's back, and he's worse
Arthur's
than
back.
ever.
Arthur's
Yep.
back, baby!
And he has a
Douglas is
vendetta.
back, and even more of a piece of shit than ever.
Someone's cooked.
Hey!